MortgageMarketingCoach.com presents Mortgage Marketing Secrets with Doran Aldana.
Now, you might be wondering, what are the criteria for qualifying a realtor? I mean, how do I know if they even qualify? Well, here are the areas you want to consider as to whether or not they qualify for your time, your energy, your money, and adding value to their business. Because let's face it, you don't want to work with a whole bunch of realtors. You don't want to go shallow and wide with 20, 30, 40 realtors. You want to go narrow, deep, and rich with half a dozen to a dozen realtors. You'll make way more money going narrow, deep, and rich with just a handful of key top producing realtors where they're sending you all of their business than if you have a lukewarm relationship going wide and shallow with dozens and dozens of realtors that don't really fully commit to you, don't have full loyalty to you, and they don't feel like a real partner with you, and therefore they don't really send you much business. So we want to go narrow, deep, and rich with just a few. And so we want to be choosy, selective as to who we work with. So here are the 6 criteria to identify who you should be working with. First, rapport and attitude. If they're a whining, sniveling, complaining, jelly donut eating, bottom feeder realtor, you don't want to work with them because they're going to suck your energy. They're what I call an energy vampire. You hang out with them for a few minutes and you start to feel drained. You start to feel lethargic. You start to drag your ass around town. Why? Because they're sucking energy out of you. Because they're so prone to complaining and whining and sniveling that they have a negative energy about them. You don't want to hang out with negative people because you'll be the next negative person. You lay down with dogs, you come up with fleas, right? You don't want to be that person. So you got to attract people who are upbeat, positive, energetic, enthusiastic, passionate, visionary, goal-oriented, action takers, people who have pep in their step. Those are the kind of people you want to be working with. So you got to have rapport, you have to have synergy, you have to have a good chemical fit, and they have to have a positive attitude. Okay, so that's one of the most important criteria that you want to be looking for. In addition to that, you want to look at the number of transactions. If they're doing 1 transaction a month, that's probably not going to be a huge opportunity for you. If they're doing 5, 10 transactions a month, now we're talking. Okay? Now we're talking. I wouldn't work with anyone who's doing less than 2 to 3 transactions a month, like in terms of closings. Wouldn't touch them with a 20-foot pole. Now, is there potential in the future if they have really good attitude, if you can see that they're going to be a top producer? Yeah. Then that overrides the second criteria. If they have a really good attitude, then I will make an exception on the second criteria because I know that it's just a matter of time until they're cranking it. It's just a matter of time until they are raking in the transactions and doing some serious volume. Okay? But again, these are not rules that are going to be the same for everybody. What I'm going to give you here are the general criteria, the general areas, and you decide what your criteria is in each category. Okay? So number of transactions. Generally, anything less than 3 per month, you probably don't want to work with. That's my general suggestion. Okay? Number of listings. So if they have anything less than 10 listings, you probably don't want to work with them. Again, if they're a top producer in their attitude, then you might make the exception. If you can tell they're going to be a top producer based on their attitude and their proclivity to take massive action, you can make an exception. But generally, 10 listings or more is what you're looking for. Annual sales volume. Now, you can go by total annual sales volume of their properties, like annual loan volume, same sort of thing, or funded volume, or you can go by revenue. Generally, they prefer to go by sales volume. They don't usually like to talk about their income revenue in terms of like gross revenue. But with the sales volume, you get to decide, do the math. I mean, you got to go by the average transaction. But if they're doing 3 transactions a month and their average sale is $500,000, you do the math on that. It gives you an idea of what they should be doing in terms of annual volume. Humility. This is so key. No one wants to work with a know-it-all. No one wants to work with an arrogant a-hole who thinks they know it all and is God's gift to the world. You want to work with someone who's humble enough to know that there's always something to learn, that they'll never have it all figured out, that there's always an opportunity to improve, so that they're coachable, so that they're a student of life. So there's someone who is always looking for a way to sharpen their sword and improve. That's the kind of person you want to work with. And the last criteria, number 6, is that they're an action taker. They have a strong bias towards action. They're one of those people that is more likely to just go out and do it, even though it's not necessarily perfect, than to trying to draft up a perfect, impeccable plan. You just want someone who's going to go out and do it. Sloppy success is always better than perfect planning. You see, if you're a perfect planner but you never take action, the person who just goes out there and has the ready, fire, aim type of mindset will always be more successful, because you'll always get more success from taking action than you will by just planning or dreaming or scheming or thinking. Sloppy success is always better than perfect planning. So, you want someone who is an action taker. That's the big idea.
For more marketing secrets with Doran Aldana, go to www.mortgagemarketingcoach.com.